Hey, good morning and happy Tuesday. It's Brenda Meller with Meller Marketing. We're back for another slice of social media pie, and I've got a very special guest with me here today, Shaun Hayes. Hey, Shaun, how you doing today?
Hey, Brenda, I'm doing well, thanks. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Can't complain. Nice to see you. So Shaun and I, we actually we go a couple ways back, if you will. Shaun, you and I first met, I believe, when you were working for Automation Alley and I was working for Walsh College, and I think we collaborated on a few events back and forth there. So we stayed in touch over the years, and it was so nice to see you recently. And it was a Zoom virtual networking. It was like a chamber collaboration. I believe it was through the Troy Chamber and then your chamber, the Clarkston Chamber. Is that right?
Yep, that's correct.
Yeah.
That's
So
right.
yes. So we got to kind of reacquaint with each other, and I reached out to Shaun afterwards, and I said we were having some conversations, and I said, hey, do you want to come on LinkedIn Live sometime, and we can chat a little bit. So really looking forward to restarting that conversation with you today, Shaun.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate the invite a ton. It's good to catch up. Absolutely.
Yeah, awesome. Well, before we get started, I want to say hi to everybody who's watching us here today, whether you're watching us on LinkedIn Live, on Facebook Live, maybe you're watching in the playback later on today. Definitely would love to encourage you to comment below, and you're going to see my little ticker running right now. Comment below to let us know where in the world you're watching from. And, if we're being honest here, where in the house you're watching from. You might be one of the lucky few that is starting to go back into the office and the workplace. And Shaun, did I hear you say earlier that you're back in the office now?
I am. I've been back in the office for a few weeks now, by myself for a little bit. I do have one person back on staff again.
Okay.
But yeah, hoping we got a lot of viewers from Clarkston today, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, good. I mean, it's probably nice, I'll have to admit, to get out of the house. Would you say? I mean, are you home with family, or are you home by yourself, or?
I'm all on my own. So
Okay.
there's a few times where, you just go day by day, and it's like working in your home office all the time gets a little monotonous. It's like you switch it up from maybe your office to your bedroom to your living room once in a while, but not too much of a change of scenery there,
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And for many that are home, either you're by yourself, I've heard it can be, isolating. And Kimberly's watching us right now. She's at home right now. I'm in home in Fraser, Michigan. I'm in my home office. Prior to COVID, I could, like you said, Shaun, I could move around the house. So I might go out into the living room or the kitchen. And sometimes I even do go out into the back deck and do some broadcasts from there. I found the lighting's not as good, but it does get a bit kind of like monotonous, kind of like that Groundhog Day movie. We're waking up day after day, and it feels like the same thing running. So it is a little bit nice. So I just want to encourage you guys to drop a comment below. Let us know where in the world you're watching from. Are you in Michigan? Tell us your home city if you're able to, and where in the house, or are you back in the office yet? And where are you working from? Where are you watching this video from? We'd love to leave a comment. We can see you when you leave a comment, so we can't see you otherwise. And I'll be throwing on comments as we go throughout the conversation here today. And to kick us off in the conversation, guys, I actually want to cue this up and just explain. So when I asked Shaun to come on the show, I said, let's pick something you want to talk about. And Shaun said, well, let's talk about utilizing every aspect of your chamber membership. So before we get into that conversation, Shaun, could you take a few minutes and describe for folks what you do now, where you're working, and a little bit about your organization?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have been with the Clarkston Area Chamber of Commerce since March of 2019, so close to a year and a half now. And I'm the executive director there. So just overseeing the entire organization, what we do in terms of events, programming for membership, financials, anything that goes into the business, all operations, I oversee that. And the organization has obviously been changing like everybody else has with COVID.
Yeah.
So my job has shifted a little bit too, as far as finding some new programming as well.
Okay. And for those folks that aren't familiar, if they're not inside Michigan, where is Clarkston located?
Clarkston is in northern Oakland County. I'm trying to think the best way to describe it for people outside of Michigan. Maybe a little over an hour north of Detroit.
Mm-hmm. It's right along I-75, if I'm remembering. There's a Clarkston exit, right?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're going up north, if you're in Michigan, you probably have driven by. And I remember too, working with several people over the years that work or live in Clarkston. And I'm one of those common people that I've spelled it without, is it without the K, Clarkston or Clarkson, Son, S-O-N.
Yeah,
I missed the T. I don't know if that happens if you see folks doing that. I'm one of the guilty parties of missing the T there.
And see, I was a little better with direction when I was still living in Madison Heights, but I moved to Clarkston as well in November. So now I'm like, I've kind of been isolated in this community for a little bit. So
yeah,
kind of tough to pinpoint that location sometimes, right?
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. Well, I appreciate you kind of coming on. So tell us a little bit about, what the Clarkston Chamber is all about, and tell us a little bit about your members. Are there businesses? Are there people or individuals, or kind of what makes up the membership, and then what makes Clarkston unique and special compared to some of the other groups that are out there?
Yeah, absolutely. So as you were mentioning, you and I worked together when I was at my previous organization, which was very B2B focused, business to business.
Yeah.
And coming to Clarkston, it was kind of the exact opposite of that, very business to consumer focused. So, our main points of membership, we've got a lot of restaurants, car dealerships, different organizations like that. We've got some shopping out here. So it was quite a shift compared to what I was expecting. The way it operates is still the same in terms of being a membership organization, but our membership focus was very different than what I was seeing beforehand. And we do a lot of, we have a lot of business opportunities, but we also do a lot of community focused events as well. So obviously some of these have been shaken up a little bit this year, but the Concerts in the Park series, Movies in the Park series. The biggest event we do for the year is Taste of Clarkston. That's been going on for, if we are able to host it, this will be year number 23.
Okay.
And that takes place in downtown Clarkston on Main Street. We've got a lot of great restaurants out here, and we get about, 25 to 30 restaurants lined up along Main Street. We've got different exhibitors. We've got bands going throughout the day, plenty of activities for the kids too, bounce houses, games and everything going on. So it's just a great time to come out for one day and see all that the city has to offer. Like I said, though, may have some difficulty this year. We usually anticipate anywhere from 15 to 18,000 on Main Street that day over a 6-hour period. So we're looking at some ways we can do that maybe in an alternate setting this year.
What's the time frame of that? Does that event normally occur? Is it August? Or when is
that? It's typically the last Sunday in September.
September. Okay. So we had a little bit of time, and I mean, definitely like the calendar keeps pushing dates further and further out in terms of like the in-person events. But right now it's kind of like a wait and see for September. I feel like July is definitely out. August is kind of out at this point. We're looking at September at this point, but we'll see where things at. And in Michigan, luckily we were on we're out of that hotspot list that we were on for a while. And, I think, we've done some good things here to kind of keep the virus at bay, but it is definitely challenging. So I want to go back to the restaurant thing, because I remember there's a restaurant, I think it was featured on the Food Network. And I think Clarkston's it's one of the most famous restaurants. It's got some really good mac and cheese. Do you know what I'm talking about?
The one that's known for the mac and cheese is the Clarkston Union, which they have union joints out here, and there's the Clarkston Union, which has been around for the longest. Rancho, which is Latin street food.
Okay.
Union Wood Shop, which is barbecue, and then Bunkhouse Burgers is the newest, which is more of a fast casual type setting.
Okay, I think it's Clarkston Union, because there's something there. I remember there's two things we want. My husband and I, we were talking about going there sometime, and we just haven't gotten around. But it was the macaroni, and then I think they've got is it a butterscotch pie? It's some dessert that he. And that's their two of their most popular dishes. So I could be wrong, but they both sound good.
You're spot on. Yep.
And I like that pie.
Mac and cheese guy. People are big on the lobster mac and cheese.
Yeah, that sounds good.
That's one of the most popular things at Taste of Clarkston every year. But you're correct. The dessert, the other one that you mentioned as well.
Yeah, it was butterscotch pie or something. It was some dessert that I know my husband was real excited about. So so let's get into this conversation now. We're here talking today, guys, about utilizing every aspect of your chamber membership, and I'm here with Shaun Hayes, who leads up the Clarkston area Chamber of Commerce. So Shaun, first let's talk about how have you shifted what you're doing in terms of what you're offering to your members, and tell us a little bit about that transition from the in-person events. And did you guys kind of stop everything and then launch to virtual, or what was that process like? And then we'll get into, some chamber membership benefit suggestions.
Yeah. So it was kind of a slow process. I mean, there were a few things that went quick in terms of, I think just about every chamber said, we are going to switch from in-person to virtual events, and just instantly said, let's get every single thing on Zoom. I don't know about everybody else's experience, but for us, it kind of felt like April and May were working, and then people were getting a little bit zoomed out after that in terms of not in terms of the educational aspects and everything, but more so the networking on Zoom. So we've tried to shift a little bit since then and focus more on some of our educational opportunities. We held an orientation session. We held a YPN meeting a couple weeks ago, which is our Young Professionals Network. We focused on both networking and kind of a little bit of learning as well, kind of building off of each other.
So tell me about I'm sorry to jump in, Shaun, the orientation session. Is that something you used to always offer to members and it was in person and now you're doing it virtually? And what do you talk about in those sessions?
Yeah, so that's a bi-monthly session, and it's just kind of a general overall, here is what Clarkston Chamber and what your membership is all about. The one thing people always ask me is they think it's for new members only, but it's actually open to anybody, whether you're a new member, maybe you're a longtime member who just hasn't gotten involved in a couple years, maybe you're new to a company that's been a member for a while, or maybe you're just considering becoming a member right now and want to learn more. So it's really open to anybody. And yes, we switched it from in-person to over Zoom. And we've been getting pretty good feedback on that. Had some people coming out to learn more about membership. Had a couple people signing up for membership based off that. So that was good to see.
Yeah, so that's open to anybody. They don't necessarily have to be a member. They could come on to the orientation session and learn more about the Clarkston Chamber. And then if they wanted to join, they could join.
Correct. Yep. It's the first or second Wednesday of every other month. The next one is coming up in August.
Okay. Is there like a calendar of events on your website?
Yep. It's at clarkston.org. And then we've just got our event calendar, the events tab, which will take you to our calendar. So you've got not only our events, but also member events as well.
Oh, very cool. So if you're a member of the Clarkston Chamber, you could submit. Do you submit them yourself, or do you have to send them into somebody on you or your staff to submit them?
You're able to submit them yourself. We do need to approve them. But yeah, we pretty much allow any event that a member has going on.
Oh, very cool.
And this actually kind of leads me into one of my first points behind the utilizing every aspect of your chamber membership is taking more advantage of the event calendar. Not just for our events, but members, whatever they have going on, whether it's virtual, in person, whether they're hosting it at our office, their own office, whatever it may be, members are able to share anything they want here. And they're actually so you got the one pulled up there, New View Nutrition. They probably post the most frequently besides the chamber ourselves.
That's great.
So yeah, it's always good to see that they've got events going on. And there is, you can categorize your different events. So you can break it down by, is it virtual? Is it in person? Is it community focused? Maybe nonprofit focused? And there is a tab specifically for chamber events as well. If you look at the drop down, there's one that says Clarkston Chamber on it. Okay, so
I in this calendar, what I'm looking at right now is every event. And now if I wanted to look at just Clarkston Chamber events that are put on by your chamber, so there's a July luncheon mixer on the 23rd. Now, is this open to anyone? Is this members only?
That's members only. There is a higher price for non-members, and I am still confirming with the site host about where they stand right now on that. But yeah, typically the Bobs, which are business over breakfast, or the luncheon mixers are open to anybody. There's a higher cost for non-members.
Yeah, that's nice. And right now, I mean, where we're at in Michigan too, for those watching, and I know we have people from elsewhere in Michigan watching, and then from other places in the world, they might be saying, wait, you're eating out in person? Well, yeah, I mean, we have some of the restrictions have loosened on restaurants where you can actually go out to eat, but and I don't know the exact rules, and I could be getting it wrong, but I know they've removed the table, so it has to be like at least 50% of seating or something. Is that what you recall, Shaun?
I believe so, 50%, yeah.
And then even then, I mean, outdoor seating, and I've been very reluctant to be out in public, you know, aside from grocery shopping and, you know, the necessary errands. But there was a restaurant near me that has been opened up, and they had outdoor dining, and I wanted to be the first table there at the beginning of the day, and I met a friend. It was great to see a real person other than my family for the first time in a while. But, you know, people are a little bit reluctant, but I think we've been trying to do our part to support small business, local business, restaurants. And I don't know about all of you guys, but if anybody else hates making dinner, this has been like awesome, because I'm like, oh, I'm supporting the community. I'm going to go pick up dinner again tonight.
I've been using that excuse a little too frequently over this shutdown here.
We got to do what we can to support the community, right? Yeah. So let's continue this conversation. So what are other ways, if we join a chamber, whether it is Clarkston or Troy or another organization, Shaun, you know, how can we best utilize that Clarkston Chamber membership?
Yeah. The main reason I wanted to bring this up in the first place too was just as we've changed up some of these things, most people sign up for networking, and that's really the only thing they're looking to get out of membership. So, some people have questioned, within the chamber world, like, where is the benefit coming from in membership now that we don't have many in-person networking opportunities to offer? And that's just the thing, is there is so much more beyond that. So I want to, I always try to make sure people are aware of that basically every department of your company is able to take advantage of these different opportunities. So we talked a little bit about the events calendar, but the other one that's really been ramping up a little bit more with us lately is the job board.
Okay.
So, and again, most people, it's usually not HR representatives or talent representatives that are signing up for membership with a chamber. So a lot of them aren't even aware it's available. But yeah, it's free to post. I know most chambers have a free system, or some have a paid system as well. Okay. Ours in particular is free. I think we have about 25, 30 jobs posted right now.
Oh.
And it's great too, because, not saying other job sites aren't great too, but I think you're going to find a lot more local results. If you're looking to hire people within your community, they're going to be more so looking at, their local job boards rather than some of the national ones.
That's a good point, because it's very highly targeted. Now, can I or can others navigate to the jobs board, or do you have to be a chamber member to get into that area?
The job board's open to anybody. Posting is limited to members, but as far as accessing it and seeing what posts are available, that is open to anybody. And
so how do I get there from the website? Is it on
resources?
Okay.
And then employment opportunities.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
It's a little tough to find on the website, but we do post it in our emails frequently. We post it on social media frequently, anytime we're getting new posts and everything. Okay. So, we can get a lot of eyes on it. We can get a lot of people checking it out. I think we did have a few expire at the start of the month, so it's a little slimmer now in terms of offerings.
Yeah.
But, we've had people filling jobs. It gets a decent number of views and everything. And even more so, now that we've been more actively promoting it a bit, as people have ramped up hiring, kind of as they're starting to return to normal. I've had a couple companies specifically reach out that are not members that have said, hey, I want to start getting active on posting this. So what do I need to do with you guys?
Yeah, so I'm going to throw that up on the screen right now. I think that was a really great tip. Use your local chamber jobs board to find open opportunities. And what I love, Shaun, is what you're explaining. If you go to like a Monster or Flipdog or whatever those big sites are, it's just huge. And you're trying to scale down, even to Metro Detroit. You might live in Clarkston and there's a position in, the west side of Novi that's not really a manageable commute. And obviously right now, a lot of the positions are working from home, but you want to be in your hometown. So going into a chamber job board is actually kind of brilliant, because you can find things a little closer to home. And so you have to be a chamber member to post them, but anybody can look at them. Is that correct? At least for your website here?
That's correct. Yes.
All right. Awesome. Okay. Great tip. All right. So what else, Shaun? I mean, we have a lot of, I know you have a lot of great tips to cover here today.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So the other thing is the directory listing. Well, anybody can access the directory, but again, this is another thing, only members get to be included in that.
Okay.
And this has been really important lately, because I mentioned that I started coming back into the office a few weeks ago. And I would say the calls that we're getting into the office and some of the emails that I'm getting, the most frequent thing right now is people wanting to know, hey, I need a roofer and I need somebody local. I'm looking for a plumber and I want somebody local. Whatever trade or service it is, people want to support local more than ever. They know some of the smaller businesses have had a tough time navigating through all of this. So they do want to support their local businesses. And I think, taking advantage of that has been huge for some people, being able to sift through the directory. It's all listed alphabetically and categorically. Not only that too, but you also have the chance to kind of jazz up your member profile a little bit. So you can just include your name and phone number if that's all you want, your company name and phone number. But if you want your website, social media links, you can include a portfolio, different pictures of, what jobs your business has done. There's a lot of opportunity to set yourself apart from other members in the directory, even among the same category.
Awesome. That's a really good tip. So you can access this directory just like I'm doing right now. You can access it even if you're not a chamber member, but in order to add to the directory, in order to add your business to the directory, you have to be a chamber member, which makes sense. It's a benefit of membership.
Correct. And if you ever forget those restaurants, it's there's a restaurant category of the directory too.
Oh, so there we go. So I can go under, now I think about it, I think I have to go back a step up. So I'm going to go to the member directory button, and then restaurants is the category.
It's under either restaurants, or it might be under, oh, there we go.
Yeah, restaurants. There we go. And then I can just,
it's actually, that's a subcategory. So if you go under, there's food, beverages, and restaurant, I believe is the other category.
Go back up to that other one. So I think I did see 2 in there. So restaurants, food, and beverage.
Or it might be, yep, there's the one.
That one. And 32.
You have 32.
Awesome. Okay. So have you been to all these restaurants, Shaun?
Just about. Okay. It's like I said, it's only been about a year and a half out here, but you go through them quickly. You try to support everybody a little bit, and you know, get the full taste of what the city has to offer, right?
No pun intended, right?
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, thanks for walking us through that. Yeah, that's really cool. So definitely take a look at the, and I think I put on there, use your local chamber directory to find local businesses, you know, home improvement, restaurants. I mean, that's a great way of, sometimes we struggle with, you know, the what's for dinner tonight. It's the same Groundhog Day, you know, thing that what are we going to have for dinner tonight? We've gone through so many different places, but, you know, looking at your chamber directory to find restaurants that you haven't tried before. And I think this is a really nice way of supporting your local community, and then also expanding your horizons if you haven't tried places yet. It's the online equivalent of kind of searching the yellow pages, if you will.
And what was great too is we can play around with it a little bit on the back end. So when COVID was first hitting and restaurants were having to close, we were calling around and asking who is still open for carry out, who's still open for delivery. And we were able to create a separate category and have that listed in, you know, different emails and different listings on our website.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. And it's good to see the restaurants are evolving and changing. And I think some have had to either close temporarily, or, you know, unfortunately they're not able to make it through. But it is nice to see, and especially the restaurants that you love, you have to support them right now. And in the beginning, I remember people saying, buy gift certificates and you can use them, you know, once they open back up. And then it was like they opened up for delivery, and then, you know, now for carry out or whatever. And now it's like we're starting to see some opening their doors, and, you know, people are wearing masks and they're trying to be safe and socially distance themselves while they're dining. But it is nice to see that local support, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So moving on.
So a couple other aspects of membership that I wanted to make sure we go over. One is, you know, and I'm sure you can relate to this quite a bit, Brenda, but taking advantage of connecting with us on social media. You know, we primarily, I think, are on Facebook more than anything else. I'm trying to expand a little bit and get more into the LinkedIn territory with what we offer. Especially when we have such different things, you know, Taste of Clarkston, things like that probably are not relevant on LinkedIn, but more so Facebook. Right. There's other opportunities. I know, Brenda, you and I have talked about possibly you doing some coaching for our members, offering some on how to use LinkedIn, which obviously would be more relevant on that platform as well. But, you know, always follow the chamber, always keep up with what events they have going on, and be sure to send us, be sure to tag us in whatever you have. Because we're always sharing these things too. And we've got quite a few followers within our network. So just more ways that we can help get the word out about what you have going on, you know, whether it was businesses reopening or how they were adjusting at this time. Just a lot of information to share, and social media is always a great way to get that out quickly. Yeah.
And I have to say, I mean, I totally agree with you on that account, Shaun. And as a chamber member of multiple organizations, I try to tag them when I'm doing my events. And sometimes I don't want to be like too self-promotional, but then I'm also like, well, I'm a member of the chamber. I put love on their pages and their posts and stuff, so I don't mind sometimes. And usually for me, it's I will tag the chamber when I host somebody on a LinkedIn Live that I'm on. I don't normally say, hey, chamber, repost me, reshare me, that type of thing. But you raise a good point. I think chambers are always looking to support their members. So if there's a way they can do so, I think that's an easy way of just tagging them. And for those of you who are not familiar, the tag function is a little bit different across networks, but you use that @ symbol, which is on my keyboard. It's the right above the @ symbol. You use the @ symbol and you tag someone on it. So you could tag, you know, when you share out your events for your business, if you're a member of the Troy Chamber, or rather the Clarkston Chamber, I apologize, the Clarkston Chamber, you could tag the Clarkston Chamber, whether you're on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Are you guys on Twitter too, Shaun?
We're on Twitter. We don't use it as much, but we do have an account. Yes.
Yeah, but I know you guys are on Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn, which are really kind of the big three right now. So definitely it's a nice point there, tagging the chamber when you go out. And a lot of times they'll retweet and they'll reshare those posts out. It sounds like you're doing, Shaun.
And just as you said too, we post a lot of things that are self-promotional, but we like to share what's going on with our members too. We like to kind of build them up and show everybody the great work that our community is doing.
Yeah, awesome. I'm gonna try to pull up your Facebook page in the background. Did you say Facebook is the most active of all the social media? And I think you guys have like a Snapchat account too, if I'm not mistaken.
We do have a Snapchat, which is probably the least active. I think we may have a Pinterest too, which actually that's probably the least active.
Okay.
But Facebook is number one, and I would say LinkedIn and Instagram are probably tied for second in that regard.
Yeah. Okay. So it looks like on your Facebook, I'm on your Facebook page. I'm actually going to drop this link into the StreamYard right now so you guys can see the link up on screen here, because I know it's a little bit hard to see. So it looks like you've got an event that's being advertised in your banner right now here that is Red, White, and Birdies. Tell us a little bit about that, Shaun.
Correct. So Red, White, and Birdies is our annual golf outing taking place this year. It was originally Red, White, and Birdies because it was taking place the day after Flag Day. We had to postpone it, but now, we can go with the 4th of July theme too. So that works.
Yeah, there you go.
But we'll be hosting it at Fountains Golf and Banquet out here in Clarkston. They've been a member for several years, hosted our golf outing a few times. And, between them and us, we're all taking a lot of precautions to make sure that this is a safe way to do it. Golf has been back up and running for a while now. And, we just have to take different steps to make sure, providing things like face masks throughout the day, keeping everybody split up. I believe Fountains has put dividers on their cart so that the passenger and driver are not shoulder to shoulder with each other.
Okay.
And we are limiting it to just 100 people this year.
Okay.
Just based on, event attendance, what's allowed right now. But that's still a pretty good number. It gives everybody a chance to come out, have a good time, and do some networking. Yeah.
I'm curious for anybody watching, have you gone golfing yet? And I agree, Shaun, like here in Michigan, I think like golf was one of the first things to open up the gyms. And, my son does karate and they can't do classes inside yet. So a lot of the indoor places, unfortunately, haven't been able to open their doors. But if they have been able to, like my son's karate, they've modified. They've been doing Zoom classes all along and they're doing things out in the parking lot. But the golf, I remember one day we drove by this golf course and I'm in Fraser. So it's, I think it's called Maple Lane. It's over at like 14 in Hoover. And we drove by and the parking lot was like packed. And at the time, I seem to recall they weren't allowed to use golf carts. Like you could only walk. So I think they're trying to keep people socially distanced. So it sounds like the golf carts are now allowed, but they're putting a partition as a modification, you're saying, in there.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. That's very awesome. Yeah, so good. So yes, check out their Facebook page, tag them on social media. If you're a member of the Clarkston or another chamber, make sure you let your chamber know when you're doing events, because your chamber can help you to promote those. So really great tip there, Shaun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right.
So a couple other things. Do we have time for a couple more?
Go right ahead. Yeah, please.
Yeah,
and
other benefits I wanted to make sure people take advantage of. A lot of chambers offer member-to-member discount programs.
Yeah.
And this can be hugely beneficial for letting people get to know who you are a little bit more, that if they're looking for these discounts, it's a lot easier to take advantage when they see you have something special to offer right now, whether it's, a discount or a buy one, get one free or some sort of special deal. So not only offering them, but also taking advantage of them. We have one because we have an Office Depot out here, and that probably gets taken advantage of more than any of the other discounts, which are a little bit sparse right now, I will admit. And we are in the process of updating some of those, kind of getting that renewed a bit so people do take more advantage of it. Okay. But the Office Depot discount card, I think most chambers do have some sort of program that offers that. I know ours is pretty steep in particular, where, one print job of 500 sheets of paper can save you, the cost of your membership right there.
Yeah.
And again, a lot of different chambers have something to offer, whether it's Office Depot, Office Max, some sort of discount on office supplies, a lot of other opportunities with whoever may be in your membership.
And I have to echo that because I was recently, this was pre-COVID. This was like one of my last corporate training engagements. And I normally would print things at home. If it was a larger print job, I would take it out. And FedEx Kinko's charges so much. It's convenience you're paying for. But I was asking around on Facebook. I said, where could I get black and white or color copies at a lower rate? And I had a couple people suggest some local printing places here in Fraser and Macomb County. And then someone said, hey, you get a chamber discount through is it Office Depot or Office Max that you said? I can't remember which one. Office Depot.
Ours is Office Depot.
Office Depot. And I was like, really? And I went in and I got my membership card, from the chamber. And I went in and it was like, the prices were amazing. It was like, I was like, why am I even going to FedEx Kinko's? And I placed the order. I came back in an hour. It was done. It was stapled. Great customer service. So that right there, I mean, you could make your money back pretty quickly on your chamber membership from that discount. So a really, really great point, Shaun.
Yeah, absolutely. And then there's other discounts within that too. It's not just the printing, but there are smaller discounts on any general office supplies that you may need. The last thing I really want to talk about with, utilizing every aspect of your chamber membership is the e-blast opportunities as well. A lot of different chambers offer this. I know ours in particular, we do have a charge for, it is member exclusive, but we do have a charge. And it's $50 if you want to do an individual e-blast. So our e-blast list has about 1,300 contacts on it, and you will get a dedicated email with whatever event or program you have to promote that goes out to each of them. Additionally, you can be included in our e-blast, which goes out weekly. You'll be included with everybody else for the week, but there is no charge for that one. So that's the benefit of just being a member. You get to be included in that.
That's awesome.
Whether it's your upcoming events, anything, programs that you have a flyer for that you'd like to list, events on our calendar, job postings that you may have, that all gets included in there too. So some of the previous benefits that I talked about with the job board, we do a listing of our new members in the directory for the month, and the event calendar, that all wraps back up into the e-blast and gets re-promoted. So even if people aren't checking out our website as often, they're still getting that weekly e-blast and getting updated information on here's what the chamber has to offer right now.
Okay, and speaking of that, I'm going to go to your web page right now for the Clarkston Chamber. Can anyone join your email list, or do you have to be a chamber member, or do you have to live in Clarkston?
Anybody can join the email list. And if it's just below the header picture there, you'll see that join our email list. And there's two options there: the Clarkston Chamber, which is our general updates, and then the Clarkston Volunteer Clearinghouse, which is, we have a lot of nonprofits out here. And we need volunteers for a lot of events like Taste of Clarkston. So anytime we need volunteers for that, and anytime other members post to the calendar saying that they need volunteers, we will send an email out to that Volunteer Clearinghouse saying, hey, you've mentioned that you're interested in volunteering within the community. Here's some opportunities coming up where you can start getting involved.
That's really great.
So that one, and then, like I said, the Clarkston Chamber is the main one for just our upcoming events and programming.
Okay, since I don't live in Clarkston proper, I'm going to deselect that one, not because I'm not a supporter of you, but just locally, but I am going to sign up for the Clarkston Chamber. So look how easy this is, guys. I'm going to click sign up, and this is it. And then I'm sure I might get like a confirmation email where, I'm verifying that I actually subscribed, that kind of thing. But super easy to get into that. So then I'll get the weekly email, which will include, I heard you say you highlight new members, which is really nice, a nice welcome to the new members. And then you probably have chamber events. And then do you highlight member events as well if they submit them, or member stories in there as well?
Yep, we pull everything for the upcoming week as far as what members have posted to that event calendar.
That's great.
And occasionally too, because we usually do feature some kind of current event story of what's going on in the community. So we'll usually just be browsing around, within our local news and everything. Clarkston News is our paper out here. We'll check them and a couple other sources for what's going on in the community and how we can promote some of our members that way.
Okay, this is really awesome. Great conversation here today. And what I want to do is kind of open this up. If you guys have any questions, or if you'd like to add any comments into the conversation, feel free to drop those in. And it's about a 30-second delay. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of time, and it might take you 10 or 15 seconds, 30 seconds to type in your question. So you've probably been noticing as we've been going throughout, I've been dropping your comments on screen. So I want to give some shout outs. A couple folks I know, Christine is on with us. Pamela Lippett, nice to see you. And Pamela just joined the Birmingham Bloomfield Chamber. I know Pamela. Do you know Pamela? Yeah. Okay. And then we've had some other folks, and some folks are joining us. Marilyn's joining us from Facebook, and some folks are joining us from LinkedIn. And I don't know, Shaun, if you've seen, we actually have people from all across the world on here. We had Amy's joining us from Japan, so we're international here today.
Cool.
We have Olivia, who's a regular viewer of my series here. Olivia is joining us from Jacksonville. Olivia, so nice to see you. Kimberly is Macomb, so she's a little bit closer to home. Kimberly, nice to see you on the session here today. So Someone did have a question about pricing. How much is a chamber membership, Shaun? And I'm going to see if I can find the person. But while I am looking for that, can you describe for us what is the chamber member? Are there tiers? Is it individual versus company, or how do you guys set that process up for pricing?
So all chambers have their different way of setting it up. For us personally, I can tell you that it's based on employee count. Okay. It starts at $265 a year, and that's for 1 to 4 employees. And then it keeps increasing based on, I think 200 plus employees goes up to about $525 a year, which we have, I think, fewer than 5 members that fall in that category. Right. Most of our members are in the 1 to 4 or in the 5 to 9 employee range. We're a very, small mom and pop shops around here.
Yeah. So when you join as a business, and I remember this from working with you at Automation Alley, when we remember all of the employees got member benefits. And I think it's the same way with the Clarkston Chamber. So depending on the tier that you join at, if it's you and 3 employees, every one of those 4 people gets access to the benefits through the chamber, the discounted event pricing, the free members only events, they all get access to that. Is that correct?
That's correct. And that's not just based on who's using the membership, that's overall employee count. Because I don't think we have any people who would have 200 plus people using the membership entirely. But yeah, based on employee count, and then it's open to everybody from there. So if one person wants to network, one person wants to post jobs, one wants to post events and do the marketing aspect, everybody has access to take advantage of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have different people in the organization, and some, in the sales and marketing department might be looking to get active in the chamber to increase their brand visibility, company recognition in the local community, or there might be other people like in HR roles or in other areas that are more community development, maybe just to keep presence and demonstrate their support of their local businesses. And then other people still might be looking more for the professional development. And I heard you talking about your Young Professionals Network. Is that something you guys have had for a while, Shaun? Is that something fairly recent for you guys?
The Young Professionals Network started in about 2015, I believe. And that was just more so because we have kind of a younger group of talent out here. A lot of the businesses and a lot of the community attracts that. So just kind of keeping in touch with that, helping some of those individuals, build up their careers a little bit, kind of become more professional and everything in their day-to-day lives.
Yeah. And I think as I'm seeing a lot of chambers kind of shifting, because that's part of the membership retention and renewal process. They want to make sure that they are continually replacing and finding value for different groups. Mindy is actually joining us from Long Island, and she had a question. Do you have other programming or groups that are geared towards specific age or different types of groups? She says there's a next gen group, which sounds like a young professionals, and a women empowerment group. Shaun, do you have other groups within the Clarkston Chamber that are kind of different segments of the Clarkston Chamber?
We previously have not done that, but I have had a couple people bring up to me that they would like to see a more, a women professionals focus group. I will say so I started in March, and my first event back in February was the Women in Business conference that we do. We had 4 women business leader speakers for that event, and it was a huge success. I think the most we had ever had attend that event in over 10 years. So very successful, held it at Oakhurst out here. And just very well received. So I think people would like to see more frequent opportunities in that regard. Regarding the YPN, we do have that group that's focused towards young professionals, but we do not actually put an age limit on it. We like to say it's for the young at heart as well.
Yeah, I like that. And some groups I've had like the young professionals, and I'm like, what's young? And some groups say 30 and under, some say 35 and under, some say 40 and under. And I'm like, okay, I'm old by any of those standards, I guess, if I'm no longer young. But they don't say we're not going to kick you out, but you kind of self-qualify yourself into the group if you feel like you consider yourself young or young at heart. Join the group. Here's another. This is just food for thought from Pamela. I think this is kind of interesting, and I think the thought here is Pamela. She's self-employed. It'd be great to have an associate membership. So maybe, for example, this might be a brainstorming, because I think a lot of organizations are struggling right now with retaining members, and then also their members are kind of looking at value. If I'm not going in person, does it make sense to renew in multiple chambers? But what if, and I think this is Pamela's idea, what if you joined the Clarkston Chamber at full price, and then maybe you wanted to join the Troy Chamber? Maybe there's like an associate chamber membership where maybe you join Troy Chamber for 75% of the price. Or, I don't know, I'm making this up, kind of reading into Pamela's response, but there might be some opportunities. And especially, I believe, within Oakland County, Michigan, there's like the Oakland County, isn't there an Oakland County Chamber network, or there's like an affiliation, I think, of a lot of the groups, right?
So yes, there is the Oakland Chamber Network, which is, there's, I think, about 25 or 26 chambers in Oakland County. I'm actually the vice chair for that group as of this year.
Oh, great.
And, you know, we usually split it up. We'll do a few networking events throughout the year, more so based on like region. So like our region in particular includes ourselves, Clarkston, Waterford, Auburn Hills, Orion, Rochester, and what's the one I'm missing? Pontiac Chamber. So, you know, they split it up to some of the groups that are a little bit closer. I know you're well involved with Troy, and I think they're a little bit closer to like Southfield, APAC, and Birmingham.
Yep.
They do take advantage of that as well, you know, that shared networking between the different groups.
Yeah, I'm going to throw that link up on screen right now so you guys can read it, because I know it's a little bit tricky. When I pull these up, it's like they're super, super tiny. But when I put them inside the banners that are in StreamYard, it's a little bit easier to see. So this is, if you are in Oakland County, Michigan, highly recommend checking out the oaklandchambernetwork.com. And I know you guys occasionally will do kind of an all-chamber event. And you do, I recall them being in person. Have they talked about doing a virtual all-chamber event yet?
We have not talked about that yet. We did do a few learning sessions, just as people were, you know, curious about different things, like whether it was healthcare or, you know, some of the Paycheck Protection Program and other grant and loan opportunities that had come out during all this. So we were doing weekly sessions based around that was open to all of the Oakland Chamber Network. That ran from about April through the end of May. Other than that, though, we've mostly been doing a lot of different collaborative events. Like you said, there was the Clarkston and Troy one that we did. I've also done a joint event with Waterford in this. Joint event with Orion just last week, or 2 weeks ago, actually. And before all this hit, maybe 2 weeks prior, we did a joint event with the Auburn Hills Chamber at we went to a Pistons game together, which we had about 30 of us between the two chambers. So, you know, we'll do a lot of different collaboration, even if it's not the full group, just some of the nearby communities, seeing how we can interact together and, you know, keep in touch with each other's networks a little bit more. And also just provide more opportunity to our members to meet some new people.
Yeah, it's a great kind of way of collaborating and joining forces and, you know, supporting each other and supporting each other's members. Craig had asked, and I'm not sure if I got to this earlier, how many members do you have? And I think the answer to this question really, Shaun, is probably how many member businesses, because individuals you can't really count up, because if I buy a membership and I have 4 employees, you know, is it just me or is it my member? But how many member businesses do you guys have there at the Clarkston Chamber?
So as of right now, we have about 470, I think just a little bit over that. We have taken a bit of a dip with COVID, just that some people have not been able to renew, because we were over 500 for a bit there. But, you know, people have been renewing a lot more frequently in June and July than they were in, you know, end of March or April at that time. So that's good to see. Yeah,
and it's kind of like in the beginning, I feel like we all were kind of, we had to get our bearings, you know, we're told work from home, and even, you know, we're in the beginning, it's like schools are closing. Okay, how are we going to work this out? And then, you know, if we took a hit in our business, we're kind of like, okay, we need to cut our expenses. Anything that's not essential is kind of up for grabs right now, and then pull back a little bit on the expenses that we even may think are essential, marketing and advertising and chamber and networking and things like that. But now that we're like, okay, we're getting our bearings again, and keep in mind, I mean, everything that's happened, it's not because of an economic collapse. It's because of a health situation that we all are feeling like is going to eventually go away, and then we're going to go back to a normal. And the businesses that are investing now, whether that is in chamber memberships or in marketing and you know, staying active online and doing online networking, those types of things, those are going to be the organizations that people are going to remember and that are going to bounce back, I think, the fastest and the quickest. And I think, Shaun, what I'm seeing from you guys and everything I'm hearing, it sounds like you guys have really been keeping up with, you know, promoting your chamber member benefits to your members, with member recruitment. And even though it sounds like you've taken a little bit of a hit in your membership, it's not substantial. I mean, I'm hearing of other organizations that are struggling a lot more with that, and it sounds like you've been able to maintain. So kudos to you and your team there.
Thank you. We've got a very supportive community out here, so it's been great.
Yeah, awesome. All right, so we're getting kind of towards the end of the hour here, and I just want to give Shaun the final floor opportunity here. Anything additional you'd like to talk about with regards to the Clarkston Chamber? Any shout outs, any upcoming events you want to highlight, et cetera, before we wrap here?
Yeah, just want to say, if you want to learn more, you can always check us out on our website. It's clarkston.org. Make sure it's CLARKSTON.
Like we had talked. There's a ton of great information out there, guys. Ton.
Of course.
There you go.
So Clarkston.org. Our next event coming up is our Golf Classic, which will be July 20th. We have a few spots for that left. I think we're down to fewer than 15 now. Okay. But you can learn more on that at our website as well. Okay. And just thank you again to you, Brenda, for having me here today. It was great to reconnect and catch up with one another.
Absolutely. And the golf outing, can you sign up individually, or do you have to sign up for a foursome? What does the process look like if people are interested in that?
Individuals, duos, foursomes, whatever works best for you.
Okay. Is there an age limit on that? Do you have to be 18 to play? My husband and son are trying to get out and golf sometime, and my son's 15.
Have them reach out to me. I may have to talk to our I haven't had any children sign up in the past, so I may have to talk to our host about that. But I'm sure we can work something out.
I don't know what the rules are, and I'm not looking for breaking or anything. I was just like, they need to get out of the house and do something, and then they could support you guys in the chamber too, which might be kind of fun.
Awesome.
So, all right, Shaun, well, it was a pleasure talking with you today. I really look forward to seeing you again in person, but in the meantime, it was nice to kind of catch up a little bit and learn more about your role and what you're doing there. It sounds like you're doing a great job.
Thank you, Brenda. Much appreciated. Thanks again for the invite.
All right, and Shaun, I'm going to drop your LinkedIn URL up on screen right now, and I'm actually going to share your LinkedIn profile up on screen with the audience as well. Are you open to accepting invitations from folks, or only if they include a note or let you know where they're coming from, or tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Feel free to add me on LinkedIn. I'm always trying to build up my network a little bit more. Do include, because I can't quite see everybody on this, so do include if you caught me here today.
Awesome. So yeah, definitely drop a note and tell Shaun that you saw him on LinkedIn Live today talking about the chamber benefits, and his LinkedIn URL is up on screen. Definitely invite him to connect. And then as we kind of wrap here today, oops, I'm going to take the screen off of here. And then I just want to remind you guys, if you're watching this later, please still leave us a comment below if you have any questions or anything you'd like to add to the conversation. But then also just share the video if you found this helpful. If you belong to another chamber, whether it's the Clarkston Chamber or another organization, share this video with others, because the chambers are doing such a great job right now of providing great value to their members. But to Shaun's earlier point, you get out what you put into it, and you can't just sit and wait back, but reach out to your chamber and ask them what are the benefits that are available to you. And, how are you looking for support for your business, and see what avenues of support there are available to you. And I heard so many things from Shaun, event calendar, for example, jobs board, posting on social media. So there's a lot of great avenues for you to access there. So make sure you share it with someone, because you would help them and help their business as well. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. This has been Brenda Meller with Social Media Pie. Shaun, thank you for joining me here today. And yeah, we'll see you guys around. Stay safe and stay healthy, and have a great day.